Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Winning Where It Matters. My name is Kyei Amoako, and it's a pleasure to have you here with me. Now, when I ask what words represent change for you, you're probably going to come up with words like constant, scary, exciting, good, necessary, unavoidable, happening. Now, all of these can be true depending on when the change is happening in our lives and its impact on us. I like to think of change in two lanes: change that we opt for and change that happens to us. A lot of times, when we opt for change, it's because we see something in the future, we're hopeful about something, we see a better way, and so we go for it. And when change happens to us, it's because somebody made a decision and we had to live with the consequence of that decision, or life just happening and things that we don't plan for happen and we have to experience the impact of it. But whichever lane change takes to reach you, change requires a response. And I want to suggest to you that when change happens, instead of running away, fighting it, blaming somebody, or pretending change is not happening, navigate it. Navigate it. Find ways to navigate it. When I think of the word navigate, I think of what we do when we drive and we experience things that we didn't expect on the road, like a pothole or some debris blowing in into our way. We navigate it. We don't stop. We don't turn, back to go where we came from, but we steer around it. We navigate it because we have somewhere that we're going. We have a destination in mind, and so we navigate. And I think that's a good metaphor we could bring to when we are experiencing change. I am experiencing a lot of change. I have experienced change. I am experiencing change, and I suspect I will be experiencing change in the weeks, months, and years ahead. And you're probably going to go through the same thing too. Right now, you may be experiencing change physically. Your body is changing. If you're getting older, you're feeling the aches and pains, and you can't run as fast as you want. You forget stuff. Your work, your employer may have informed you that they don't need your services anymore, and so that's a change, a big change you have to navigate. You may have responded to the call to be an entrepreneur, and you leaned in, started a business, and now you're dealing with a major change because you have to operate differently, or relationally. Your relationship with your family or your friends or your loved ones, it's probably not what it used to be. And so that's something that you have to navigate. I want to share a few thoughts about how I am navigating change. And hopefully, you could take a thing or two out of that in navigating your own change. So, first thing I suggest you do when you're dealing with change is to pause and process. Pause and process and figure out, is this change that you opted for, or it's change that's happening to you? That begins to give you options to how you think about what to do with the change that's happening to you. And next, I would also suggest that you separate the controllables from the uncontrollables. Because when change happens, there are some things you can control and there are some things you cannot control. Now, separating those two gives you a little bit more clarity. A few weeks ago, I sprained my hand and had to be in a cast for several days. And so I couldn't type. I couldn't type as well. I had to do the one finger typing thing, which is not that's you can't type a lot of words with just one finger. And so I had to sit still for a little bit for my hand to heal. I couldn't control that. It was frustrating. It was frustrating when I couldn't type. I had my weeks planned out. I knew I had a bunch of things I was going to type. I was excited about all the things that I was going to do, but my sprained hand required for me to sit still for a little bit. I couldn't control that. Now, separating the controllables from the uncontrollables gave me options for navigating my situation, that change that was happening to me. And the third thing for you to consider is adapting, adapting and learning. When change is happening, I think we would serve ourselves well when we adapt and learn. I have a change that I have opted for, a change that I'm planning for. And as I'm getting ready for that change, I am having to make adjustments to my plan because I'm learning new things that's requiring me to shift. And because I am making room for me to adapt and be flexible, the change is not as scary as it could be. And so think about pausing to reflect, separating the controllables from the uncontrollables, and adapting and learning as change is happening. So let me ask, what's a word that represents change for you right now? If you opted for that change, I want to encourage you to get clear about your motivations for wanting that change, because you're going to need that. When things are not going exactly how you thought it was going to go, you're going to need to return to that motivation for opting for that change. And if it's a change that happened to you, I want you to consider embracing it and moving towards acceptance. There's almost always growth that happens when we embrace change, whether we opted for it or if it happened to us. My goal for this episode was to bring to our attention that sometimes we opt for change, sometimes change happens to us. And either way, change requires a response. And a helpful response is navigating it. That puts a lot of power in our hands, and we're able to deal with that change a little bit better if we choose to navigate it. And I shared some ideas for you to consider as you navigate your own change. If you liked what you heard and saw, like the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification button so you would know when I have uploaded videos. We post a video every Sunday, and share the video so others could also benefit from the information that I am sharing here. If you'd like to connect with me outside of here, go to kyeamoako.com. I believe in you, and I hope you do too. I'll see you on the next one.